Education is a process of living, and like everything else, it is important to trust the process. Everyone finally agrees that talent is important, and that knowing one's talent is the key to successful learning and ultimately enjoyment of what one does now and in the future. However, how do you know one's talent? Most often, we guess it using our naked eyes, just like parents do when their children get a fever in the night. Oh, it must be malaria. Let's get medicine from the chemist. Chap, chap. But that's exactly what we do in talented education, but we all know it could be a wrong diagnosis. That is why Dr. Humphrey Oborah, through his trusted affiliates, explains the process of finding talent at his clinic.
The process begins right here at the reception, and we gather basic information about a person, and that process is known as oral screening. So at this reception, we get the basic facts about a person. Then we move to the computer, where we go to a professional level known as psycho-screening, in which we use psychological experts' information, which is already put in software to analyze basic facts about a person. The main reason is to find out what is your spirit and what is your soul in terms of psychology, and that determines what we call BPT, or basic personality trait of a person. Once we finish that, we move over to the machine, where now we take the biometrics, and that forms the third stage known as biometric machine screening. So we'll go and start the process, and we're going to use James here as a subject today, and as a person that we're going to use as a sample. Now we are inside the biometric machine. It's a cubicle fitted with several biometric cameras. These are very expensive cameras, which have got the capacity within less than a minute to get your energy signals between the brain and the rest of the body, known as the quantum points. Now, for it to be able to find that energy sequence of a person, the person will stand here. So I'll now ask my subject, James, to stand here. So James will stand. I want you to look through that hole on top completely. Now, there is a trigger here. So I want you to hold the trigger. Now, the trigger has a button, and it connects directly to the computer so that we can start the scanning process. Okay? So, James, I want your body to become symmetric so that I have your left side and your right side. And so, because the right hand is already bent that way, so I'll ask him to bend the left one a little. Just put it outward a little, like this, just straight, like this. Okay? Now look completely in front. Look in front through that hole. I want you to continuously look at that hole. Now, for me to get a good image for James, I will completely make it dark inside. So I'll close the curtain. I'm now ready to take the biometrics of James. James, are you ready? Yes. James, push the trigger. Done. James has put the trigger. And now this is what I get out of James. I have now James in the form of energy paths. This is how signals pass through James left and right. I can see that on the left hand side there are energy blockages. That's why it's painted red. And this is occasion most likely either the mother was craving for certain food or was eating on food items known as paika, like soil and that kind of thing. Or it could be prolonged labor resulting on preterm or post-term birth. This is very typical of such kind of people. And more importantly in this one, it will affect the learning of this person, because I can see there's a signal shift from left to right, meaning this person cannot memorize, cannot cram. And such a person would benefit from brief instructions and open discussions. So I know his learning style and product style in advance. The right side means this is a very active brain, very creative, good in planning, strategic thinking, and will certainly be a nuisance to teachers and parents would be asking very many questions and often very restless. And so if this is not well managed, might end up in antisocial behavior, yet remains highly intelligent. We'll now take the final biometrics of James, and this is known as brain Diametrics. This will get for us information about the brain measurement that determines the signal frequency and the signal speed. That means how quickly your brain can be able to react to any situation or within the quantum points in your body. So Andrew will start that process quickly. For him, it just takes a few seconds, and we'll get the information quickly going to the computer. You can see it scrolling immediately. It's reading its information. You can see the machine is reading over there its information. His face is already captured. You can see the symmetry on his eyes, mouth. It's changing it. Now, with that, a lot of biometric information for James. The data is now available in the international database at World Headquarters in the US. 2 additional experts alongside myself will be able to look at them, write their separate report before being consolidated into one full talent report. That will take a maximum of 2 days, 48 hours. After another 24 hours, that means in a total of 3 days, we shall be able to write a talent prescription. A talent prescription differs slightly from a talent report in that the report describes who you are, what you can do, and what you ought to avoid. In other words, what you can learn and what you should not learn. And therefore, the talent prescription will be able to tell us in what we found in the report, what is it that we can do so that we can enhance that talent. That means, how shall we develop or nurture that talent? Who are the experts going to undertake talent-based learning with you? If there's a need for additional subjects, that means learning, we shall now include a new report known as a learning prescription, which tells us what subject, to what depth, how often in a week, and should you do exams written, or would you do examinations presented? Would you do a project? Would you take a talent task? And therefore, those prescriptions now will guide us and connect us with international experts that will be able to develop that particular talent that you do have. The most important thing is that you will be able to foretell your career 30 years in advance. So it means you give me a 4-year-old child whose front lobe of the brain is fully developed. We are able to scientifically and professionally be able to forecast that talent 30 years in advance.